Hello, everybody. Dependent Fanatic here, also known as DF. I have gone from game by game predictions for every Power 4 team to these predicted playoff results for 2025. I have done the roster breakdowns for every team, but I gave you 12 contending teams that I thought are viable in their own videos, and that is in a playlist, and you can go watch that. I did my Power 4 record predictions, which is in a playlist for you as well. There are 4 videos there. Each conference, game by game, each team is predicted and their record. Then I told you who will be in the playoff based off of those predictions. If you've never done this type of exercise, I I suggest you go and do it. It is fun as hell. It makes you think, makes you look at each position for each team and how are they going to beat this team? Well, they have this guy. I'm not going to go into any of that with all of you, but these were the top 11 teams that I had. All right, the group of 5 team, the 12 seed is what they are going to be. They are not going to hold a candle to the Power 4. Nobody will enter the playoff undefeated this year. The NIL and transfer portal will have indeed led to more parity this season for the Power 4. The Power 4 conferences will still dominate the others, and the group of 5 will lose almost every game versus the Power 4 teams in their non-conference schedules. So I don't expect them to have a good enough record to surpass the 12 seed. So that's where I have them. If you didn't watch the predicted playoff video, go ahead and check that out. But a quick rundown. Texas Tech, these are how the teams got in, was that video. How these teams got in, their records, their wins, what is their strength of record. And I went over all of that. But from the Big 12, the runner-up in the Big 12 will be the 11 seed in Texas Tech. Oregon is the 10 seed. Notre Dame was the 9 seed. Texas was the 8 seed. Georgia was the 7 seed. Big 10 runner-up was Michigan, the 6 seed. The ACC champions was the 5 seed in Clemson. Big 12 champs, the 4 seed in Arizona State again. And then SEC runner-up, it gets a 3 seed in this playoff. Yes, Alabama. And then the SEC champs get the 2 seed in LSU, and the number 1 seed was Penn State. So there will be 4 SEC teams in this playoff, 3 Big 10 teams, 2 Big 12 teams, the ACC champion, the group of 5 champion that is the highest ranked at the time at the end of the season after their win in their conference championship. I have no idea who that. I have no idea who that is going to be. Regardless, I know that they're not going to be top 12 in the rankings. So maybe like 18 or 17. But they're going to be thrust into this playoff here. And then there's Notre Dame, of course. So that makes out my 12-team playoff. Okay, let me fill out this hypothetical bracket and come up with a national championship for 2025. In the first round, these are all home games for the best seed. So the 12 seed, which will be a conference champion from the group of 5. 5 of them are vying for this spot from the American Conference, from Conference USA, from the MAC, from the Mountain West, and from the Sun Belt. I don't know who these teams will be that win these conferences, let alone the best one. I just don't know that right now. Sorry, I'm not that in-depth. I'm a dependent fanatic. I'm not doing that research for you guys. I don't get paid enough. Got a day job. But anyway, they will play at Clemson, the 5 seed, in Clemson, South Carolina, in Death Valley. Clemson will be the ACC champions yet again, sneaking in last year. But this time, they will have something to prove. And I expect this game in Death Valley will be no contest in favor of Cade Klubnik and Dabo Swinney. Clemson will advance to play the 4 seed in the quarterfinal of this playoff. All right, the next first round game. Texas Tech will be the 11 seed at 10-3, and they will go on the road to Ann Arbor, Michigan to play Michigan, an 11-2 team. Michigan will get the home playoff game in late December in the cold and the weather, and finally play in an advantageous atmosphere on the national scale in the late postseason. Michigan will hit harder, it will hurt, they will run harder, and they will punish Texas Tech in this game. Michigan and Bryce Underwood and that defense at this time, if they make it this far, are going to be on par to play. They will advance, and they will make it to the quarterfinal versus the 3 seed. And if you watched the previous video, you already know who that's going to be against. The other first round game, there's 2 more. Oregon is going to play at Georgia, the 10 versus 7 matchup here. Oregon, the 10 seed, who's going to go 9-3 in the regular season. Georgia, who's going to go 10-2. This is going to be played in Athens, Georgia. I said these are all home games. Kirby Smart versus former defensive coordinator Dan Lanning. He goes back to Athens. Both are great coaches, and both have great rosters. This is more of a 50-50 game than the first 2 games that I already mentioned. I have to go with the mentor here, though, in Kirby Smart and home field winning this game. Georgia will advance to the quarterfinal to play the 2 seed. All right, the last first round game will be in Austin, Texas, and it's the 8 seed Texas hosting the 9 seed Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to go 11-1. No conference affiliation, but Texas didn't even get into their SEC championship game at 10-2. So how is Texas hosting this game? Strength of record. And I have that, and it's the 8 and the 9 seed. What epic games we're going to have in this first round period. This is another toss-up game. Even if it was in South Bend for Notre Dame and a home field game for them, I would expect this to be a toss-up game there as well. I have Arch Manning, though, and Steve Sarkisian, along with that roster, winning versus C.J. Carr and Marcus Freeman. Texas winning will make it a perfect 4-for-4 for the home teams in the first round. So we will have straight chalk in my seeding in the quarterfinals. 8 teams are left. Texas Tech, Oregon, and Notre Dame's seasons are done, but they were great seasons. And then, I expect, the group of 5 team, whoever it was, is going to lose. I expect they'll think it's a great season, but is it really? Is it really? So I left them out. But here we go, the quarterfinals. This is the Cotton Bowl in Texas. And it's because the 4 seed Arizona State would like to be towards the south. Clemson is going to have to go there. It's 12-2 Clemson versus 12-1 Arizona State. And see the national title contender playlist for roster information for both of these teams. Every one of these remaining 8 teams were represented in their own video for their rosters. So go check those out. But Clemson, as I said, got lucky to get in last year, and they know it. They're going to win this game versus Arizona State to move on to the semifinal. Now, in the Orange Bowl, we have the 6th seed Michigan, who is now 12-2 after winning their first game versus Texas Tech. They're going to go up against the 3 seed in Alabama, who is going to be 11-2. Why not a third game in 2 years? Why not versus these 2 teams? Both were very close last possession games the first time these 2 teams played. Michigan didn't have a quarterback last year, though, and now Underwood, and I think the game management under Chip Lindsey will be enough, along with Michigan's defense, of course, that beat Alabama last year almost single-handedly, will be enough for a 3rd straight win for Michigan over Alabama, and they will end up in the Final Four. Yes, they're going to go to the semifinal, coming out of the Orange Bowl in Florida. The Sugar Bowl, which is played in Louisiana, is going to have Louisiana State, the 2 seed, in it, the SEC champs, at 11-2. They will host another SEC team in the 7 seed, Georgia, who also is now 11-2 at this point after beating Oregon in the first round. This will be the first game between conference foes in this playoff. And they didn't play in the regular season. So a lot is going to have to be determined here, how these teams played versus their opponents. All that stuff we don't know. We're in the middle of summer practices. We got fall camp coming up still. I like this game. I have LSU vastly improved under Brian Kelly this season, and with Nussmeier at quarterback, I think is probably a better situation than Georgia's quarterback. Both defenses will be great, in my opinion. You know Kirby Smart's is going to be. It will come down to Nussmeier making the winning play. And kind of a boring game in this. Maybe like a 17-10 or 17-14 type of a low-scoring game because of these 2 defenses in the Sugar Bowl between 2 SEC teams. All right, the last quarterfinal game is the 1 seed, Penn State, and they get the Rose Bowl. According to affiliations and whatnot, they will go to California to the Rose Bowl with a 12-1 record, and the 8 seed, Texas, will have an 11-2 record at this point. This is my 2 deepest rosters in the nation going at it in this game. Talent, depth, and experience will be plentiful. I trusted Penn State to win at Ohio State earlier in this season and to beat Michigan in the Big Ten title game. But I think Penn State's James Franklin gets his biggest win of the year in this game versus Texas in the Rose Bowl, proving that he can win the big ones with Drew Aller here at quarterback. Now, this semifinal is going to be fascinating. All these games are going to be fascinating. Would you agree? Hit the thumbs up if you think this would be an awesome playoff, and let me know which one could be better. But there's a chance of a Big Ten title rematch in this semifinal. Penn State and Michigan could play each other in the national championship at this point. There is a chance that LSU and Clemson will get a rematch from week 1 of the season. The alternatives for this playoff, these 4 teams, which are Clemson, Penn State, Michigan, and LSU, The alternatives would be Penn State versus LSU or Clemson versus Michigan in the national title, which would be amazing as well. And therefore, shout out to Uncle Luke, but yeah, therefore as well and two, and also the semifinal at this point will have 3 SEC teams and Arizona State that lost in the quarterfinal. So them 4 teams, great seasons, but you're not in it. You're not in this Final Four. It is the teams that I said. Clemson, the 5 seed, is going to be 13-2 at this point, taking on the 1 seed, Penn State. And this game will be in the Fiesta Bowl, is what I predicted. As I said, Clemson is on a mission this year.
Check your Wi-Fi
network. Clemson is on a mission this year, whereas Penn State will be happy to get to this point after those great wins versus Ohio State, Michigan, Texas. And we all know Franklin always makes a boneheaded decision. And Dabo has been here before, and he has done it before, and he had an easier, less physical path than Penn State to get here from the ACC. Michigan is going to be playing LSU, the 6 seed versus the 2 seed in the Peach Bowl in Georgia. Michigan's going to be 13-2 at this point versus LSU's 12-2. Michigan have been lucky to get here. Michigan homer, I'm going to tell you, the only way that they get here is that nobody got hurt all season. Healthy, in other words, I think the depth is a little bit unproven, but it may be more proven at this point. But LSU, the SEC champs, Brian Kelly has Michigan ties going back to Central Michigan, being the coach at Notre Dame, has played Michigan. He knows Michigan. The game is in the South. Beating Alabama will take a toll for both of these teams. Alabama will have beaten LSU and Michigan, or LSU earlier, but LSU returns the favor in the SEC championship game and beats them. Michigan will have beaten Alabama, but it will have just been that previous week. So LSU is going to win this semifinal game to go to the national championship. LSU will want to beat Bryce Underwood by any means necessary after he spurned them for Michigan and them $12 million or whatever it was. But, Bryce is a Michigan civilian, a Michigander, born, raised there, went to high school there. So it will be up to Bryce to return the favor in 2026, maybe, versus LSU. And LSU's head coach, Brian Kelly, might blow his lid if they lose that game. Literally. He could have an aneurysm. His face gets too red. I know this because of his time at Central Michigan, where he had some good seasons. Dan Lefevre there and everything. He wants excellence always. And he's finally got a program that takes things as seriously as he does. He will win the national championship over Clemson in that rematch of week 1. They will be the SEC champs. They will be the national champs at 14-2 in 2025, equaling Ohio State's record from last season. But they actually won their conference title, Ohio State. So I hate to beat on the Big Ten and say that the SEC is going to win again. But that's what I have. That's what I have right now. So what do you guys think? LSU is going to beat a 14-2 Clemson in the national championship game in Miami, Florida. and they will finish 14-2 themselves. There you go. That's my predictions. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, everybody. Go watch the other videos. I'll try to put some of them in the cards or the end screen right here, of course. And we'll see you on the next video. Let's go, baby.